Hey guys, welcome back to Home with Desha, everything cooking, home, and lifestyle related. So today, y'all, we making us some roast chicken, okay? So I done washed and cleaned this chicken with some lime and vinegar. I got my butter seasoning here because this is what's going to make this chicken moist. And I also have my dry seasoning. So you see that little water you see on the table, y'all? Disregard it. Like I said, I cleaned this with some vinegar and lime and I let it soak for like 30 minutes. So I also butterfly this chicken. If you've never butterfly a chicken before, all you do is you're literally cutting out the spine on the back of the chicken. That's it. And that's how you butterfly it. So you cut that spine part out, okay? So I will list the ingredients for the dry seasoning, and I'll also list the ingredients for the butter. So the butter is just a mixture of butter and the dry seasoning combined. I like to add that to the chicken because the butter is going to get the chicken the golden color that we want it to be. So guys, now I'm just massaging this butter in and all this seasoning in. You gotta massage it and you gotta give it some love because you want all the flavors to get all the way in your chicken. So you want to make sure you get the back, then we're gonna get the front, and just massage it all in, massage it and massage it in until everywhere is coated because you want this to be really flavorful and you want the seasonings to penetrate. So what you're going to see me doing here now is I'm taking a spoon and I'm getting this butter up underneath the skin of the chicken. Because you know the breast part of the chicken can be the driest. So I want to put as much butter in there so that when it starts to cook and bake, it can like release the butter slowly into the meat so the meat stays really moist and tender. So you want to get it all over within your chicken underneath the skin as much as possible so that it can just melt while it's cooking. And of course, you're going to then follow that by adding more seasoning to the top. So one thing I do recommend with seasoned meat is if you have gloves, wear it, especially if you're cooking for a large party or a lot of people. Here, I'm just cooking for my family, and I did wash my hands before, so I don't necessarily need gloves. But if I was cooking for a lot of people, I would wear gloves. So, do as you please in your household. So I'm finishing up the seasoning, guys. I'm getting it all rubbed in. You see, I'm getting every inch of this chicken because I want every bite of this to be super flavorful, okay? So I did went ahead and transfer the chicken over into my baking dish, and I'm adding the remaining butter on top of the skin so it can also help the skin to get brown and to just also help with being moist. I normally season my chicken and leave it overnight so that the seasoning can penetrate. You can do that, or at least, do it at least an hour or two before you cook, okay? Baby, I'm not wasting no butter around here, as y'all can tell. But make sure y'all comment, like, subscribe to my channel, okay? So now that I'm all done seasoning, I'm going to get the foil added to the top, and we're going to get this put in the oven, guys. I'm going to cover it, but as you see, I'm going to leave some space in between so the foil is not touching the chicken. I want the chicken to have enough room to breathe so it can cook evenly and so the moisture can stay inside. We're going to bake this for an hour and a half on 365 degrees. If you want to bake it quicker, you can turn the heat up, but I really want this to slow cook so it will stay moist and the flavor will get to penetrate. So again, 365 for about an hour and a half. Y'all, after putting that meat in the oven, I'm like, what am I going to cook with this? So I decided to cook some rice. We love some rice in my house. I'm Caribbean people, we just love us some rice. So what I'm doing here is I'm rinsing my rice off. This is how I was taught. This is how I was raised growing up. You got to pick your rice out to make sure you get the bad rices out, which is like the black and the brown rice. And then you also got to rinse it. We rinse it about 3 or 4 times until you see it get clear. That's how we do it in the Caribbean. Let me know in the comment section if you aren't Caribbean but you were also raised to rinse your rice off before cooking. I really want to see how many cultures do the same thing. Alright, so leave a comment and let me know. And if you are Caribbean, leave a comment and let me know which island you're from. So guys, I added 2 cups of rice, followed by 4 cups of water, and I'm adding a cream of mushroom soup. I'm adding this to the rice just to give the rice a little bit more flavor. And I really wanted the rice to be creamy because I'm not going to make a gravy with my chicken. So therefore, I didn't want the rice to be dry. And the cream of mushroom soup is going to give the rice just enough flavor and also make it moist. So now we're going to add a teaspoon of salt. We're going to also add a tablespoon of parsley. And I know y'all like, how you know it's a teaspoon and it's a tablespoon? Y'all, I've been cooking since I've been 9 years old. I can eyeball stuff and know the measurements to be exact. That's how long I've been cooking. I also added in some black pepper to bring the flavor out more, and an Old Bay leaf. And I'm also going to add a tablespoon of butter to this. Like, you can't cook rice without butter. Like, you need butter for your rice. I swear you do. And I'm just going to mix all this together. And I have this currently on high. If you have a stove that, has the number 1 through 10, I currently have mine on like an 8. So here's how I was taught to cook rice. I was taught you let it boil, you mix it up, and once you mix it, you turn it onto 1 or the lowest setting on your stove. And you leave it alone. You leave it alone. Within 20-25 minutes, your rice will be done. I promise you. This is how I've always cooked rice, and it has never failed me. So while the rice was cooking, I decided I wanted some green beans to go with this. So here I am adding in 2 tablespoons of butter to a saucepan. And I'm going to let this get really hot before I added my green beans in. I like crispy green beans. So I like to use butter because I feel like the butter makes it gets really crispy. And it also helps with flavor and stuff. If you notice, I use a lot of butter in my dishes because to me, butter just really makes the food even more flavorful. It just brings out flavor in your food. Some great alternatives to butter if you don't want to use butter. You can use coconut oil to cook with. You can use avocado oil, and you can also use like olive oil. Those are some great alternatives to butter if you are not a fan of butter. So now that the oil is sizzling, I'm going to go ahead and add my cut green beans to this. You just pour it in there and you're going to let it saute down. So after adding in the green beans to the pot, I'm going to take a fork and I'm going to get this all mixed up so all of the green beans can get coated in the butter. While mixing, guys, I realized I did not have enough butter, so I decided to add another stick of butter to this. Once I added in the additional stick of butter, I am going to now add in my dry seasoning that's going to get these green beans flavorful. So I'm going to add in about a tablespoon of minced onion. If you like minced onion, you can add a lot or you can add a little bit if you really don't like it. Minced onion, to be honest, doesn't have any flavor. It's just good if you don't really eat regular onions. I'm also going to add in a tablespoon of onion powder. And I'm going to add in some rosemary. This is going to make the green beans like smell really good. And it's going to give it a little bit of flavor. So I decided to do 2 tablespoons of rosemary instead of 1. And I also added 1 tablespoon of black pepper. Once I added the black pepper, I just mixed all this together and I just let it cook down. I started cooking the green beans about 15 minutes till I know my chicken was about to be ready because green beans don't take long to cook and I also don't want them overcooking. So I'm just mixing up all the seasoning again that I added to the green beans. And then I'm going to cover it and let it cook down. I have my stove on about a 6 or 7 because like I stated earlier, I really want it to be crispy, so I tend to cook it on high. I cook it on high about the first 5 minutes and then I'll turn it down to about a 2. So I'm going to now put the lid on this. We're going to let this cook down and we're going to check in on our chicken. Look at this beauty, y'all. This chicken looks so good, and I promise you it's gonna taste amazing. So the last 15 minutes, I always pull the chicken out of the oven. I take the liquid in the pot and I just pour it back over on top of the chicken. It just makes it remain moist. It also helps brown it up a little bit more. And it just gets all that juice and flavor back into the chicken. So like I said, we're going to take the foil off. We're going to baste it. And then we're going to put it back in for about 15 to 20 more minutes to finish cooking. So here's my rice. We have about 10 minutes left. So as you see, the water is evaporating. So you just want to leave it alone. And here's the green beans. I'm checking on it, y'all. We about to get to eating in a second. So I decided to add a little bit of more seasoning to it. This is Slap Your Mama. I tasted and it was pretty bland. So I just wanted a little bit more flavor. Keep in mind, like with your rice and your side dish, whatever that is, you don't want to overpower the flavor because your chicken is already going to be so flavorful, but you still want it to taste good. All right, here's my rice finished, and this is what I tell you guys. If you leave the rice alone, it will do what it is supposed to do. And here is our chicken. This is a beauty. Look how beautiful this chicken looks. You see all this flavor in it? Oh my God. I really hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. I hope you enjoy this cook with me. I hope you make this dish for your family, and I hope you guys enjoy it and you love it. Like, look at this, guys. This is how you throw down, okay? Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another video of Home with Desha. I really hope you guys enjoy this recipe. Have a good one.